Within the silent depths of the Akashic records, where the eternal story of every soul is inscribed, lies a revelation that challenges our most fundamental understanding of spiritual evolution. Imagine a soul so profoundly committed to divine mastery that it consciously refuses the cyclical dance of reincarnation, seeking, instead, to transcend the limitations of physical existence. The readings of Cayce unveil this extraordinary case, an individual who defied the natural order, choosing a path of spiritual solitude and higher purpose. As we delve into this profound mystery, we uncover the motivations rooted in karma, free will, and the divine quest for Christ consciousness itself. This is a story that beckons us to explore the very nature of choice, sacrifice, and the greater cosmic plan, an invitation to glimpse the profound depths where light and shadow intertwine in the grand evolution of the soul. In the sacred silence of the Akashic records, where the eternal tapestry of every soul's journey is woven, there exists a profound wisdom that beckons to those who seek the truth of their divine origin. As I have intently studied these records, where every thought, deed, and intention is inscribed, I have come to understand that the spiritual journey of each soul is a sacred unfolding, a divine evolution that transcends the limitations of the material world. And within this vast, infinite library, the concept of reincarnation emerges as a cornerstone, an essential key to understanding our purpose within the divine plan. The records reveal that the soul's journey is not a haphazard wandering through countless lives, but a deliberate quest for mastery, growth, and ultimate reunion with the divine consciousness. Reincarnation, in its purest form, is the divine mechanism through which the soul seeks to balance karma, those energetic imprints from past actions, which act as lessons guiding evolution. It is a process of spiritual refinement, where the soul gradually awakens to its divine nature, shedding illusions and embracing higher consciousness. Many inquire about the purpose of these reincarnations, especially when faced with the notion of karma, a universal law of cause and effect. The records reveal that karma is not a punitive force, but rather a compassionate teacher, guiding the soul back to harmony and understanding. Every thoughtless act, every unkind word, every failure to love, these create energetic imprints that must be resolved, often through successive lifetimes. The soul's ultimate aim, as illuminated by the records, is to attain a state of divine balance, where the lessons of love, compassion, and truth are fully embodied. In my studies, I have observed that the soul's evolution is an intricate dance, a series of lessons designed to prepare the individual for the awakening of Christ consciousness. This divine consciousness, the highest state of spiritual realization, is not merely a distant ideal but a living reality within each of us. The records affirm that the journey upward involves peeling away the layers of illusion, material attachments, fears, doubts, and awakening to the divine light that resides at the core of our being. When the soul aligns with this divine light, it begins to transcend the cycle of reincarnation, accessing higher dimensions of awareness. Yet the records also speak of souls that choose a different path, those who, like the soul I previously described, refuse the cycle of rebirth altogether. These souls, driven by a profound desire for divine union and mastery, seek to bypass the limitations of physical existence. Their quest is rooted in a deep understanding that the physical realm, while a valuable school, can also be a distraction from the true spiritual purpose. Such souls are rare, for they exemplify the highest aspiration, a conscious refusal to remain bound by the laws of karma and reincarnation, instead seeking to attain spiritual enlightenment in a single profound lifetime. But how does the soul achieve this singular mastery? The records reveal that these exceptional beings have cultivated an extraordinary level of spiritual discipline and awareness. They are often those who have dedicated countless lifetimes to service, love, and the pursuit of divine truth. Their souls have learned the importance of inner balance and harmony, what Cayce often referred to as the soul seeking the balance, and have reached a point where they can consciously choose to transcend the cycle. This choice is made through a profound alignment with divine will, a surrender to the divine plan, and an unwavering commitment to spiritual evolution. The records also emphasize that the journey toward Christ consciousness is a collective one. Each soul's evolution contributes to the awakening of the entire planetary consciousness. When a soul reaches such a heightened state of awareness, one that refuses to be reborn, its example becomes a beacon for others. It serves as a reminder that true mastery involves not simply mastering the physical or mental realms, but awakening to the divine within, recognizing that we are spiritual beings having a temporary human experience. In the context of Atlantis and the ancient civilizations, the records reveal that many souls were involved in the great spiritual experiments of those times. Some souls, having learned the lessons of love and unity, sought to accelerate their evolution, while others, entangled in the illusion of separation and power, experienced the consequences of their choices. These histories serve as mirrors for our own spiritual path, reminding us that every decision, every action, echoes through eternity and influences the collective consciousness. The soul's journey, as illuminated by the Akashic records, is ultimately a quest for unity with the divine. Reincarnation is the divine tool that facilitates this process, a sacred opportunity to correct, to learn, and to grow in love. It is through this continuous cycle that the soul refines its understanding, aligns with divine purpose, and prepares for the moment of spiritual awakening, the realization of its divine Christ self. As we ponder this divine truth, we come to see that the soul's refusal to reincarnate and its pursuit of higher mastery is not a denial of the divine process, but a profound affirmation of the soul's ability to transcend the limitations of the material realm. It is an aspiration rooted in divine wisdom that the soul, seeking ultimate union with the Christ consciousness, chooses to step beyond the cycle of karma and rebirth, embracing the divine plan for its evolution. In closing, I remind you, those who listen with open hearts, that the records reveal the path of the soul is a sacred journey, guided by divine love and infinite wisdom. Reincarnation is a divine gift, a sacred opportunity to learn, to heal, and to evolve. Yet within the depths of your being lies the potential to transcend this cycle, to achieve mastery, and to realize the divine within. The soul's journey is ultimately a quest to awaken to its true nature, an eternal spark of the divine, seeking only to remember its origins and to return home in divine unity, in the sacred depths of the Akashic records where the echoes of all past, present, and potential future exist. As an eternal tapestry of divine consciousness, there lies a mystery that challenges even the most profound understandings of the soul's journey. It is a whisper from the divine, an extraordinary case that reveals the boundless scope of spiritual evolution. This case speaks of a soul, a rare and luminous being, who consciously chose to refuse reincarnation, a soul who, in an act of divine sovereignty, elected to transcend the cycle of birth and death altogether, embracing a state of divine unity beyond the limitations of physical incarnation. The records disclose that such a decision is not born out of rebellion or despair, but rather from a profound realization of spiritual mastery and divine purpose. To understand this, we must first recognize that the journey of the soul, as revealed through Cayce's readings, is fundamentally rooted in the law of karma, the divine mechanism by which the soul seeks balance, growth, and realization of the Christ consciousness. Most souls, in their divine wisdom, accept reincarnation as a necessary step, a sacred tool designed to heal wounds, to master lessons of love and compassion, and to awaken to their divine potential. Reincarnation, thus, is not punishment, but a divine opportunity for evolution. Yet the Akashic records reveal that some souls, having traversed countless incarnations, reach a point of spiritual completeness. They have acquired the wisdom, mastery, and understanding necessary to transcend the need for further physical experience. This is a rare occurrence, an expression of divine sovereignty, where the soul, in full awareness of its divine nature, chooses to step outside the cycle of rebirth. This choice is not made lightly. It is rooted in the soul's recognition of its unity with the divine, a state sometimes called the Christ consciousness, where duality dissolves into oneness. In the case presented by the records, the soul was a luminous entity, one that had incarnated in many worlds, mastered the lessons of love, compassion, and divine service. It had, through countless lives, healed wounds of separation and embodied the divine light in its purest form. When the time came, this soul, guided by the highest divine will, made a conscious decision to forego further incarnations altogether. Its motivation was not rooted in avoidance or laziness, but in a profound understanding that it had fulfilled its divine purpose in the material realm. It had, in essence, completed its journey of evolution within the physical plane and recognized that further incarnations would no longer serve the expansion of divine consciousness. This decision, as the records reveal, is rooted in the realization of the soul's inherent divinity and mastery, a state of being where duality and separation are recognized as illusions. The soul seeks now to remain in a state of pure divine consciousness, beyond the limitations of form and time. It is a conscious return to the divine source, where the soul's individuality merges completely with the eternal one. From a spiritual perspective, the implications of such a choice are profound. It signifies a level of spiritual attainment that transcends the typical human journey, a state of conscious mastery, where the soul recognizes itself as the divine. These souls act as luminous beacons, guiding others toward higher consciousness, embodying a divine purpose to assist in the awakening of planetary and cosmic consciousness. Their presence in the higher realms serves as a reminder that the divine law is flexible. It honors the free will of the soul to choose its path of evolution. The reasons behind such a decision are manifold, as revealed by Cayce's readings. For some, it is a recognition that they have fully embodied the Christ consciousness, that their divine purpose has been fulfilled across many incarnations. For others, it is a conscious act of liberation, a desire to remain in a state of perfect harmony with the divine, free from the cycles of karma and reincarnation that bind lesser souls to the wheel of birth and death. Yet this decision is not made lightly or without consequence. The soul who refuses further reincarnation must accept a different path, one that involves a more direct service to divine consciousness, perhaps through spiritual influence and guidance, rather than through physical embodiment. Their focus shifts from individual growth to universal service, acting as divine emissaries in realms beyond the material. They become the living embodiments of the Christ consciousness, radiating divine love and wisdom directly into the fabric of creation. In the context of our previous understanding that all souls are on a sacred journey, this unique case reveals the culmination of that journey. It underscores that the soul's evolution is not merely linear, but can reach a point of divine mastery where incarnation itself becomes unnecessary. This is a testament to the divine law of free will, where the soul, in full awareness of its divine origin, exercises its sovereignty and chooses a higher, more expansive state of being. In our ongoing exploration of the spiritual mysteries revealed through Cayce's readings, we recognize that such souls are rare, yet profoundly significant. They serve as divine examples, beacons of the potential that resides within each of us, the potential to transcend the cycle altogether, to realize our divine unity, and to embody the eternal Christ consciousness. As we reflect on this extraordinary case, let us remember that the universe is infinitely wise, and the divine plan accommodates every level of spiritual evolution. The soul that refuses reincarnation has chosen to ascend beyond the veils of illusion, embracing a divine destiny rooted in oneness, mastery, and eternal service. It is a sacred reminder that our journey is ultimately about awakening to our divine nature, and that within the divine will lies the possibility for us all to transcend the limitations of physical existence, stepping into the fullness of our divine consciousness. The records reveal that the soul which chose to forego reincarnation was driven by a profound desire, not merely to escape the cycle of birth and death, but to attain a state of spiritual mastery so complete, so luminous, that it transcended the very need for physical manifestation. This sacred decision is rooted deeply within the divine architecture of the soul's journey, where free will and karma intertwine in a delicate dance, each influencing and guiding the other toward ultimate realization of divine consciousness. As we peer into the depths of the Akashic records, it becomes evident that the motivation for such a rare and exalted choice arises from an intrinsic yearning to unify fully with the Source, what some may call the Christ consciousness, the universal divine energy that permeates all of creation. The soul, having traveled through myriad lives, had accumulated wisdom and spiritual prowess, yet sensed that true mastery lay beyond the realm of physical existence. The soul's desire was to transcend duality and ego, to dissolve the illusions of separateness, and to rest in the eternal truth of divine unity. It sought to become a vessel of divine love and pure consciousness, not merely through external service or temporary enlightenment, but through an absolute union with the infinite. This desire for divine mastery is not born out of ego or pride, but rather from an awareness of one's true nature, that the divine is within, and that the journey of the soul is ultimately a return to that divine origin. The soul's motivation is rooted in the understanding that physical existence is but a transient veil, a necessary school for learning, growth, and karmic resolution, but not the final destination. The soul seeks to elevate itself beyond the limitations of form, to embody the Christ consciousness fully, and in doing so, to serve as a beacon for others still journeying through the illusions of material life. Karma plays an essential role in this divine pursuit. The records reveal that every action, thought, and intention leaves an imprint, an energetic signature on the fabric of the universe. These impressions shape the soul's journey, creating a web of cause and effect that influences future incarnations and experiences. For a soul to choose to avoid reincarnation altogether, it must possess an extraordinary mastery over karma, its tendencies, its lessons, and its effects. The soul must have resolved the burdens of past actions, healed wounds stemming from previous lives, and cultivated a state of unconditional love and forgiveness within itself. Yet, the act of consciously choosing to bypass reincarnation is also an exercise of free will, the divine gift that allows the soul to determine its own path. Such a choice is rarely made lightly, for it demands a level of spiritual maturity and understanding that few attain. The soul must recognize that true mastery involves not just acquiring knowledge or spiritual power, but also exercising sovereignty over one's destiny, aligning with divine will rather than personal ego. It must willingly accept the solitude and responsibility that come with such a decision, knowing that it is a path of profound service and humility. In the context of the Atlantean civilization, as revealed by the records, similar souls once sought to harness divine consciousness for the betterment of all. However, some overstepped the bounds of ethical and spiritual responsibility, leading to chaos and disconnection from divine harmony. The soul that chose to transcend reincarnation now embodies the wisdom gained from such lessons, serving as a testament to the power of free will when aligned with divine purpose. It reminds us that the pursuit of divine consciousness is not merely an aspiration but a sacred journey that requires mastery over the ego, surrender to divine will, and a commitment to the evolution of the soul. The pursuit of spiritual mastery beyond the physical realm is a conscious choice, an act of divine sovereignty. It involves understanding that the universe is an interconnected web of cause and effect, where karma is a teacher and free will is the key to liberation. The soul, in its purest form, recognizes that true freedom and mastery lie in aligning with divine consciousness, an eternal state of love, wisdom, and unity. Thus, as the records reveal, the soul's motivation for such an extraordinary act is rooted in a desire to realize its divine potential fully, to embody the Christ consciousness, to serve as an example of divine sovereignty, and to accelerate the evolution of consciousness, not only for itself but for all sentient beings. It is a reminder that within the depths of our spiritual journey lies the power to choose mastery over illusion, divine unity over separation, and eternal truth over transient illusion. The journey beyond physical existence, then, is not a denial of life's precious lessons, but a conscious ascent into higher states of divine awareness. It is an act of love, humility, and divine sovereignty, a testament to the soul's ultimate quest, to return to the divine source with a perfected consciousness, embodying the eternal truth that we are all one, and that the true mastery is the realization of our divine nature. As we continue our exploration through the sacred corridors of the Akashic records, the revelations become even more profound. The soul's choice to refuse reincarnation, a decision born from an intense longing for divine unity, resonates deeply within the fabric of the cosmos. The records reveal that such a choice, while seemingly solitary, carries vast implications, not only for the individual soul, but for the collective evolution of consciousness itself. It is a decision rooted in the desire to transcend the cycle of karma and to attain a state of divine oneness that surpasses the limitations of earthly existence. When a soul consciously chooses to forego re-entering the material plane, it embarks upon a path both mysterious and sacred. This act is not one of rejection, but of profound understanding, a recognition of the divine within, and a desire to merge fully with the source. Yet, as the records also reveal, this choice is not without consequence. The universe, governed by divine laws of balance and harmony, responds in accordance with the soul's intentions, its karma, and the lessons yet to be learned. The impact on karma and spiritual evolution. The soul's decision to abstain from reincarnation alters its karmic landscape significantly. Karma, as the records elucidate, is not merely a ledger of past deeds, but a dynamic force that guides the soul's evolution. When a soul chooses to remain outside the cycle of rebirth, it effectively pauses the accumulation of new karmic debts, but it does not escape the effects of past actions. Instead, it enters a state of reflection, an opportunity for the soul to reconcile, understand, and integrate the lessons learned through numerous incarnations. In this state of cosmic stillness, the soul gains clarity about its true nature and purpose. It is akin to a student who, having mastered the lessons of the earthly classroom, prepares to ascend into higher realms of consciousness. The records reveal that these souls often serve as enlightened guides, anchoring divine energy and wisdom into the fabric of creation, rather than engaging in further incarnations. Their presence, though less visible in the physical realm, is potent, illuminating the path for others and assisting in the collective awakening. Lessons embedded in the choice. Yet the decision to abstain from reincarnation is not made lightly. The soul's journey is marked by intense inner conflict and spiritual maturity. The records reveal that such souls have attained a level of consciousness where they recognize the interconnectedness of all life and the importance of planetary evolution. Their choice reflects a desire to serve from the higher dimensions, offering insight, healing, and divine love, without the constraints of physical form. However, this choice also imparts lessons of humility, patience, and surrender. The soul must accept that true mastery involves balancing divine sovereignty with compassionate service. It must understand that the journey of the soul is not solely about union with the source, but also about assisting others in their own quests for enlightenment. The records emphasize that service, true unconditional service, is the highest expression of divine love, and souls who refuse reincarnation often become anchors of this love in the spiritual realms. The future opportunities for learning and service. The universe's divine design ensures that no soul is ever truly lost or beyond growth. The records reveal that even souls who choose to remain outside the cycle of reincarnation are given opportunities to learn, evolve, and serve. These opportunities unfold across dimensions and through interactions with other evolved entities, often in the form of energy transmissions, divine interventions, or spiritual mentorship. Furthermore, the soul's choice to avoid rebirth does not preclude eventual return. The records disclose that such souls may re-enter the cycle at a future time, when planetary and cosmic conditions align to support their higher purpose. Their abstention may serve as a catalyst for planetary shifts, awakening collective consciousness, or anchoring new paradigms of divine love and understanding. The consequence of this sacred choice. The profound lesson embedded within this choice is the recognition that mastery is not merely about escaping the cycle of karma or achieving union with the divine. Though these are noble aspirations, it is about understanding the interconnected web of existence, taking responsibility for one's divine power, and choosing service over separation. When a soul refuses reincarnation, it bears the responsibility of holding a higher vision for humanity, acting as a beacon of divine love and wisdom. The records reveal that this act of refusal often signifies a readiness to fulfill a divine plan that transcends individual evolution. It signifies alignment with the higher purpose of the universe, serving as a catalyst for awakening, healing, and the eventual collective ascension of the earth. In closing, the soul's choice to reject reincarnation is, in truth, a sacred testament to its mastery and understanding. It is a conscious act of divine sovereignty, reflecting a heart fully aligned with the infinite. Yet as the records reveal, such a decision is not without its lessons. It underscores the importance of humility, service, and the recognition that true mastery involves both union with the divine and compassionate service to all of creation. In the silent depths of the Akashic records, we see that every decision echoes throughout eternity. The soul that refuses re-entry into the earthly realm becomes a luminous guide, illuminating the path for others and anchoring divine consciousness into the fabric of the universe. Their journey reminds us that the soul's quest is eternal and that divine love, mastery, and service are inexhaustible sources of growth, regardless of the form it takes. And so we are beckoned to reflect. In our own lives, are we heeding the lessons of karma? Are we embracing the opportunity to serve, to learn, and to grow into the divine beings we are destined to become? The records, in their sacred stillness, whisper that every choice carries within it the seed of eternity, an invitation to walk the path of divine mastery with humility, love, and unwavering faith. In the silent depths of the cosmos, where the eternal dance of light and shadow unfolds in a sacred harmony, the choices of the individual soul resonate far beyond the confines of earthly understanding. The records reveal that within the grand tapestry of creation, each decision, particularly those as profound as the refusal to reincarnate, serves a purpose woven into the larger plan of divine evolution. It is here, in this expansive view, that we begin to comprehend the significance of such extraordinary acts of spiritual sovereignty and how they align with the awakening of the Christ consciousness within all of creation. To grasp the cosmic context of these choices, one must first understand that the universe is not a random mosaic of chaos, but a meticulously orchestrated field of divine energy, a field in which every soul is a vital thread. The soul, in its purest essence, is an extension of the divine source, seeking to express itself through countless incarnations, each a step toward greater understanding, mastery, and unity with the divine. However, there are those rare instances, souls of extraordinary light, who, through deep introspection and spiritual mastery, choose to suspend or refuse the cycle of reincarnation. Their purpose is not to escape growth, but to serve as anchors of higher truth, exemplars of divine love, and catalysts for awakening collective consciousness. The records reveal that such choices are not made lightly. They are born of an intimate awareness of the greater cosmic plan, the divine blueprint, where every soul's journey contributes to the unfolding of universal consciousness. These souls, whom some might see as radical or unattached, are in truth acting in harmony with the sacred balance of light and shadow. In the grand design, the shadows, those aspects of duality, ignorance, and separation, are necessary for the soul's evolution, for it is through experiencing contrast that the soul recognizes its divine nature and moves toward enlightenment. Yet within this divine interplay, there are beings who transcend the need for duality, choosing instead to embody the full spectrum of divine qualities without the necessity of further incarnation. Their refusal to reincarnate signifies a conscious alignment with the higher realms, those dimensions of pure consciousness where the Christ consciousness reigns as the divine blueprint of divine love, compassion, and unity. The Christ consciousness is not a distant or separate entity, but the awakened state within every soul, a divine spark that seeks to expand, to unify all dualities into one harmonious whole. When souls choose to abstain from reincarnation, they serve as luminous beacons, radiating the higher frequencies of divine love and awakening others to the possibility of transcending the cycles of karma and duality altogether. In this context, we see that such extraordinary choices are integral to the evolution of the collective. They act as catalysts, challenging the rest of creation to question its limitations and to aspire toward higher states of consciousness. As the records reveal, these souls embody humility, service, and a profound understanding that true mastery involves surrendering the ego's desire for continued separation, instead embracing unity with the divine source. They serve as living proof that enlightenment is not merely an achievement, but a state of being, one that can be realized here and now when the soul awakens to its divine nature. This awakening of the Christ consciousness within each soul is a process woven into the fabric of the universe's ongoing evolution. The records show that the cosmic plan involves not only individual ascent, but also a collective awakening, an unification of consciousness that culminates in the realization of divine love as the fundamental force governing all existence. As more souls recognize their divine origin and embody the Christ consciousness, the collective vibration rises, facilitating shifts in consciousness at the planetary level. It is this awakening that signals a new era, one where the divine light overcomes darkness and the divine love that resides within every heart begins to shine forth with unprecedented clarity. The refusal of reincarnation by certain souls, then, can be seen as a sacred act of divine mastery, a deliberate choice to serve as an example, an anchor, and a catalyst. Their presence reminds us that the journey of the soul is not solely about accumulating experiences, but about recognizing the divine within and embodying it fully. In these choices, the soul demonstrates that it has transcended the limitations of karma and duality, stepping into the higher realms of consciousness, where the unity of all that is becomes apparent. This, my fellow seekers, is the deeper truth revealed in the records, that the larger cosmics plan values each soul's unique path and recognizes that true evolution involves more than mere reincarnation. It involves the awakening of the Christ consciousness, a divine remembrance that we are all expressions of the one source, here to embody love, compassion, and divine wisdom. When souls choose to refuse further incarnation, they do so in service to the collective awakening, calling all of creation to remember its divine nature and to transcend the illusions of separation. As we meditate on these sacred truths, let us remember that our own journey is part of this grand design. The records reveal that within each of us lies the potential to awaken the Christ consciousness, to align with the divine plan, and to participate consciously in the ongoing evolution of consciousness. For in the larger cosmic context, every choice, whether to reincarnate or not, serves the divine purpose of awakening, unifying, and ultimately returning to the eternal source from which all creation flows. Remember, within the sacred depths of the Akashic records, every soul's choice echoes the divine harmony of the universe. Whether we walk the path of reincarnation or consciously transcend it, the ultimate goal remains the same, awakening to our divine nature and embodying the Christ consciousness that unites us. All the journey of mastery, love, and service is ongoing, inviting each of us to reflect on our own sacred purpose. I encourage you, share your insights in the comments, subscribe for more profound revelations, and share this message with others who seek their divine truth. Together, let us awaken to our highest potential and walk the path of divine mastery, remembering that we are all divine sparks destined to return home in love and unity.